This episode of FilmRiot is brought to you by Domain.com.
Today on FilmRiot, we're taking a look back at one of our favorite lighting techniques. Welcome to FilmRiot, the show that takes mystery out of the effects techniques. One of my favorite Hollywood films. I'm your host, Ryan Conley, and I know what you're gonna say. Really? Another rewind episode? I know, but we are currently in the middle of a project that consists of 5 separate action scenes, all of which are very different from each other, all of which are very complicated, so it's taking up all of our time. So just bear with us a little bit longer and it'll all be coming out all back to back. There's gonna be 5 episodes that are living on the DJI channel, which will all be very different than the stuff that we're gonna be putting up about it on our FilmRiot channel, so it's gonna be a lot of content for you guys to feast your eyes on. But for today's episode, we're looking back at one of my favorite lighting techniques that just uses one light. I still do this all the time. It's definitely dated, as you'll see, but the techniques are still pretty solid, I think. So watch with your face. So first, I chose my location, which I decided to have my actor sit at a table, which you will see the reason for very soon. I also sat him in a position so that I would be able to get this window in the shot behind him. But now it is time to bring in my one light. I opted for the LOL 1K, which I put on an arm of my C-stand so that I could suspend it directly above the table, which I did. Then I grabbed some black wrap and wrapped it around the light so that it wouldn't have any spill on the back wall at all, and all the light would just be focused straight down on the table. And that's my setup. So now I will turn my light on, and here we go. And as you can see, I have this top light on my actor and what looks like a warmer bottom light. This light is coming from the bounce I am getting from the table, which is why I opted for this setup. So now I have my 1K above with the focus of the beam of light on the table. So the light that we're getting here on Josh is more of a softer edge of that beam, not the main intensity, which is going straight to the table. So the result is we get essentially 2 light sources for one. The main light source being the 1K, and the second is the bounce I'm getting from the table. But the table is a warm wood color, so we're getting this orangish red look from the bounce, which I may not want, but we can control this easily to different effects by grabbing a few household sheets. I have here a black one and a white one. If I were to throw the black one onto the table like this, that sheet will absorb the light more and reflect very, very little light. So I will be left with a very ominous, very contrasty scene, which looks really cool in my opinion, which again, I purposefully have the window in the back for some detail here. This isn't a necessity, but it does add some nice depth. But now, if I don't like how dark this is on my actor's face, I can grab my white sheet and toss that down instead, which as you can see adds a lot of light. It really looks like I added a second source of light, not just a bounce. And this is a trick that is used all the time. In fact, now that I've shown you this, you will be spotting it in a lot of movies. You're welcome. But now let's say you still aren't satisfied. You don't like the directional top light. You want something a bit darker, a bit more intense. Not a problem. Just adjust your barn doors and black wrap to flag the light off your actor so that the light is only hitting the table, and put the black sheet back down. Personally, I love this. You can hardly see the actor, but there's still a lot of detail there. We're getting the softest, most subtle amount of light on his face, and this could be great for the introduction to a villain or something similar. I kind of want to write something just so I can use this. It's a really ballsy way to light an actor. You almost can't see anything. But now, again, maybe you're thinking, nope, too dark. So now we take away the black sheet to leave only the tabletop, which is super red and kind of looks like he's having dinner with Satan or something. Which you could always just pull the red out a touch in post and have a pretty interesting look like this. But again, we want more options. So I'll toss down the white sheet. Again, I love this look. Whereas I think extreme directional bottom lighting, like I showed you last week, can look pretty odd and off-putting. I absolutely love the look of soft bottom lighting. There's such an intensity to it for me, and it looks very different from the norm, which helps your footage stand out from the rest and look a lot more filmic since it's not just average lighting you see all the time. But now if you want to add some more detail and separation, there is one more thing that you can do. Since we were smart and designed this shot to give us plenty of options, if I want to, I can open this back window here, which will add a nice blue backlight to my actor, giving us some separation and adding an overall lighter feel to the shot as a whole. But there you have it, a one light setup with tons of options. You can also get different colored sheets for a multitude of other effects, like getting different levels of gray between white and black to change how strong the bounce light onto your actor actually is. But this technique is one to keep in mind. It can be used in many different ways. Like here, I'll use this paper my actor is reading as a bounce source. Or you could even take a shirt of an actor. Take this one, for example. I'll have Eris wear this white shirt. Josh is backlit, the front of him very much in shadow. Then Eris walks up, and the light will bounce off Eris's shirt to become a fill for Josh. So now you have like a moving bounce board. Using techniques like this can add some really interesting visual effects to your scene, including a very creative way to reveal a character. But there you have it, another interesting idea for you to store in your cranium. The best thing about the technique is that there's an insane amount of variables you can add in for different effects, and with that in mind, I'd actually love to see what kind of ideas you guys have with this. So if you'd like, give it a shot using the effect in your own creative way and post a video response here. It'd be a blasty to check them all out. If you're a budding filmmaker, entrepreneur, innovator, domain.com is a place to go when the next idea hits you
In the wiener.
Can we say that?
I don't know. Let's find out.
I know you probably heard the list of available domain extensions is growing, but you now have the opportunity to name your site and build your brands in ways that were never before possible. Choose from a growing list of 400 plus domain name extensions like .com, .org, .design, or .club.
Or wiener.
To show you some love, they're giving you 25% off their already affordable prices when you buy domain names, web hosting, and email. Just use the coupon code FilmRiot at domain.com's checkout. And when you think domain names, think domain.com.
And wieners.
I knew you were going to say that.
Logo.
And that's it for today. If you want to follow me on the Twitters, you can do so right here, because that's my Twitter. And I'll see you guys next time when I learn not to F with Alejandro, because he will bring a gallon of water into the room for no reason and intimidate you by putting his genitals on your shoulder.